Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Between Two Hedges. I want to welcome in Stacey Mosely, our Senior Assistant Director and our Senior Women's Administrator. Stacy, thank you for taking the time. For everyone joining the call right now, some quick housekeeping. As many who've joined a few others, your mics are muted on purpose. We ask that you participate though. These are supposed to be lighthearted and fun. And so we ask you to participate with the Q&A function in your screen. So you can send in questions throughout the chat and we will answer them as we go. And if not, we'll try to get to them at the end. But please do participate. We look forward to having that. So I will start off with a brief introduction of Stacy. Stacy is one of the longest tenured of our staff. She's probably one of the most well-known faces we have in this department. But for those who might not know her personally, I'm going to go through a quick bio. Here we go. We got Stacy joined Rice Athletics in the fall of 2011 as Senior Associate Athletic Director and Senior Women's Administrator. She has oversight of 4 varsity sports: soccer, men's, women's tennis, and women's basketball, in addition to academic advising, student-athlete development offices. She serves as the liaison to the Office of Admissions, as well as the Rice University Committee on Athletics. At Rice's SWA, she has oversight of the Title IX Gender Equity Committee and is a member of the NCAA Amateurism Cabinet. She came to Rice from Oakland University, where she served as Associate AD for Internal Operations and the SWA for 3 years. And prior to her time at Oakland, she had a stop at University of Miami and 12 years at Northern Illinois in various positions. Stacy and her husband, she earned her bachelor's degree from Cal Poly and her master's from Northern Illinois. Her and her husband have a son, Dominic, and daughter, Jacqueline, and enjoy the beautiful area of Katy, Texas. Stacy, welcome.
Thank you, Mike. Looking forward to this.
Yeah. As you guys know, we start off with a little fun. So, Stacy is one of the most recognizable faces we have here in our athletic department, but I doubt few of you really know your background as a student athlete. So that's where I want to start off, Stacy. We talked about you earning your bachelor's at Cal Poly. You have a really unique story as a former student athlete. So we'd love for you to touch on that a little bit.
Sure. So I'm a former gymnast. And if I was standing up, I'm 5'7". I usually get asked, wow, you're really tall for a gymnast. And so, but I've done it since I was 5 years old. It's an incredible sport, a lot of self-discipline there, and was fortunate enough to be able to do it in college at Cal Poly. But after my sophomore year, they ended up dropping our program and bringing up women's soccer, the club program there. And I bring that up because it's really giving me a unique perspective in that I was part of a team that was dropped. And as an administrator at Northern Illinois University, I was part of the management team that made the tough decision to drop a sport there that I oversaw. And so I understand it from all dynamics, and it's difficult, but I wouldn't trade my experience as a student athlete for anything. It was incredible, lifelong friendships, and taught me so much about life and navigating college and beyond. So it was really, really a blessing.
I know we mentioned too, when the sport got cut, you kind of transitioned to a leadership role on campus that really you kind of you spurred change while you were there. Can you talk on that a little bit?
Sure. So at Cal Poly, when I was there, we were Division II. We had Division I volleyball and Division I wrestling. Everything else was Division II. And during my time there, after gymnastics was dropped, we were having a student referendum to move to Division I athletics. It was either that or several sports were going to start to get dropped. And that was the last thing that I wanted or any of my teammates wanted. And so we really took an active role in getting out the word to all of the students on campus to vote to go Division I. And it ended up being the largest student referendum in the state of California at the time. And we narrowly passed by just hundreds of votes to go Division I. So it was really a unique time in history for athletics at Cal Poly.
Very, very cool. Who was your favorite athlete growing up?
That one's easy, Mary Lou Retton.
Mary Lou Retton. Can you recall a certain time that a floor routine or anything that really stands out to you?
Oh, well, if anybody knows Mary Lou Retton, it's the vault and perfect 10 in the Olympics. She's just so spunky and full of life. And what was really neat was this February when Tina Langley and Erica were up for nominations for Student Athlete and Coach of the Year for the Houston Sports Awards. Mary Lou Retton was getting inducted into the Houston Sports Hall of Fame. And so she gave a great speech, but I went to the restroom afterwards and her daughter was in there. And so I didn't get a chance to meet Mary Lou, but I did get to meet one of her daughters and gush all over her about how incredible her mother was. So that was the highlight of my life, coming this close to being able to meet Mary.
Tell your mom I love her. Tell your mom I love her. That's really good.
I think she was actually in the restroom at the time. But it was a little awkward. So I was like, I'm going to exit stage left.
You probably get this a lot, not in this environment. You probably get this a lot. That's exactly. Great. That's funny. So, those on the Zoom call and from some who have joined us recently, please feel free the Q&A function in your chat, put in questions. We'll answer them real time or answer them at the end. So, you can't help but see the memorabilia behind you, but maybe not many of these calls know kind of the depth of athletics that runs in your family, right? You guys are all highly athletic. And you're not the only former college athletics administrator in the household. So can you touch on a little bit about college athletics and athletics in general to you and the family?
Sure. So obviously I've been in the industry for over 25 years outside of my athletic experience, but my husband's a former college football player. His jersey in football and the stadium from the University of Illinois. And then from there, he was also a college football coach. And so this one over here is him jumping sky high after he was at Miami and we had beat Florida State at the time. And so that's a huge rivalry. Sorry about that, Mike.
Wow, did not see that.
So I had to get that in there. Sorry about that. For those of you that don't know, Mike was at Florida State. So, but anyway, yes. So football runs deep. Both of our kids, we have a son, Dominic, who's 10, plays football and basketball, straight up athlete. And our daughter, Jacqueline, is a tennis player and a basketball player. So. And I think another great part of the story is how Marcus has pivoted, right? Like Marcus is no longer a football coach. He's now a pilot. Right. He actually started as a pilot.
He started as a pilot, okay.
Started as a pilot, but then 9/11 hit and he was one of the low men on the totem pole. And so then he got out of flying because thousands of pilots lost their jobs at that time and called up his former football coach and who happened to be the head coach at West Point and said, my only other passion is football. And he quickly created a quality control position for him, which is how he got into coaching. And so he did that for a while. That's how we met back at Northern Illinois University. And then when his coaching stints were done, he got back into flying. And so he is a pilot. Yes.
Right. What's the perks of a family of a pilot? What kind of perks do you guys have on flying? You guys have, I know you talk sometimes on you're on your standby trips and that fun stuff.
Sure. So yes, flying for free, although you got to be ready to be there all day and still not get on a flight. But yeah, it does allow you to connect with family across the country a little bit more than you would normally do. So.
Very neat. So for those joining the call, Stacey Mosely, our senior women's administrator, our senior associate AD, I'm here with Rice Athletics. Stacey, for a lot of folks, I'd love for you, to see the acronym Senior Woman Administrator, SWA. They might not have a full understanding of what that means. Can you kind of describe what that means to the folks on the call?
So Mike, one of the biggest things that people get wrong with SWA is they think it's Senior Women's Administrator. And that person is over all of women's athletics. And it's not. It's Senior Woman Administrator, which you said correctly. Thank you. And it was created because of Title IX. And most college athletic departments back in the day were all men. and the women's voice was not in the senior leadership team and not getting heard. And so the NCAA made a mandate that every athletics department had to assign somebody as an SWA, which is basically you're tagged as the highest ranking female in the athletic department. And so that's how it all started. And so my role as SWA is twofold. It is to look out for gender equity. That doesn't mean just look out for our women. It means that we are being equitable both for our male athletes and our female athletes. And there's 13 points that we have to review every year on and continue to get better with. We have a subcommittee that analyzes that. But the other big thing that's really happened with Title IX over the last several years is sexual misconduct. And that's really where the federal government has pivoted quite a bit. And for each president of the United States that comes in, they of course have their own look on that. And so right now we just received new policies from the Department of Education. So all the universities across the country are redoing their adjudication processes in Title IX sexual misconduct. So that's taking a lot of time with several folks on campus to rewrite our policies.
So, you've also, obviously with your role, you've played a really leadership role in this period of time, especially with the kids being remote and the services we provide. So touch on a little bit of that, of how we've been providing support to our student athletes as they've worked and been schooled remotely.
Sure. So this is new for everybody. I think we've done a really great job. We always have a culture of care here at Rice, and I believe we were really able to continue that. With academic advising, all 4 of our advisors were remote and still met with our student athletes. We had to do class registration for the fall and summer, all remote. We moved all of our tutoring sessions remote, and we had the best GPA, I think, ever. So we were a little concerned with not knowing all of our student athletes' home environments, internet connections, quiet spaces to study, not being able to have a tutor right there with them or walk into their academic advisor's room. And but what the remote living did was allow them really to focus more on academics because they didn't have athletics too, right? That's always the balance that our student athletes have to have. And so we're really happy about that. The other area that we focused on was mental health. And we were able to connect our student athletes with resources when they needed them. We were able to monitor them. JP Abercrombie, our assistant AD for student athlete development, worked with several of our student athletes, making sure that they knew that we were still here for them, even though they were spread out all over the country there. So, and then of course our coaches, our head and assistant coaches have been phenomenal, meeting with their athletes weekly, doing Zoom film sessions with them when allowed by the NCAA, or just to connect and, everybody get together and chat for 30 minutes. So our coaches did a really great job engaging them throughout this whole time.
Fantastic. We touched on earlier about, the acronym, the Senior Woman Administrator. So not that you see all in sports, but during your tenure here, I mean, the rise of athletics at Rice and the successes that we've had, and you've played a big part of that and helped architect and been a big part of the recruitment of Tina Langley and Brian Lee and these coaches who are really building these programs. Touch on that a little bit, on kind of what you've seen kind of from when you got here in 2011 and where we're at today.
Yeah, I mean, women's sports have killed it in the 9 years that I've been here. I've overseen 7 different sports here, 7 to 8 different sports here, had volleyball for most of the time, and then gave that one to Tanner. So he's enjoying.
He takes credit for all the conference. I told Tanner.
Of my labor. But no, I mean, it's been phenomenal. Rice Athletics, before I got here, and then even the 9 years, we continue every year to grow and mature. We really challenge our student athletes and coaches with excellence. And that we bring it every day, both in the classroom, on the court, in the pool. Joe, when he got here, really set that expectation of being conference champions or top 25. And we've been able to do it in so many of our programs. I mean, you look at women's tennis, they've had 6 conference championships in the last 7 years, went to the Sweet 16 my first year, which was an incredible experience there. Soccer has done very well, conference championships, looking forward to seeing what Brian Lee has done. We've had conference championships in women's cross country, women's track and field, swimming. I mean, you name it, it's been there. So it's been a wonderful ride. And of course, women's basketball the last several years with the conference championships and NCAA. It was tough to have the season end the way that it did. We were literally minutes from tip off when they pulled the plug and said, nope, everybody's going to go home. And so it was great that they got the automatic bid to go to the NCAA. And then of course we all got the sad news that the tournament was going to be canceled as well. Clearly the right decision for everybody, but tough on the student athletes to lose that piece of the finality of their season. But we've got the next year coming up, and if all goes well, you know, I mean, every day is new with COVID-19, but we're really hoping to have a good fall season and continue throughout the year here.
For those on the call, you know, so our staff, there's, you know, Joe's our athletic director, but our staff serves as administrators, sport administrators for multiple sports, for all of our sports. And so Stacy mentioned volleyball and kind of having the administrative role and passing it on to Tanner in the last few years that volleyball had. But Stacy, I know that the emotions last year, I remember being in Dallas last year, and the emotions around Tina and the program and everything that you guys put into that. Can you speak on that a little bit about kind of bringing Tina in, seeing the program, the growth that they've had on the court and also together?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a storybook like the one Tina Langley has done. It is literally, we took a program, and when Joe and I were looking for our next head coach, we had a profile of all the qualities that we were looking for. And as soon as we sat down, we met her in between NCAA rounds at a hotel in Maryland. And as soon as she started talking, I mean, we knew that she was just the absolute right fit. And from day one, we talked with Tina about our expectations. We want to be a top 25 program, but year one is all about changing the culture, that our kids should expect and want to be excellent, not just in the classroom, but on the court and in life. And Tina brings all of that. And every year you look at the statistics, you look at our success, and it was like perfectly written. And I've just never seen that. Sports is up and down. You know, even if you've got a historic program, there are ups and downs in it. And she just kept doing one of these. And I know she would not want to take any of the credit and give it all to her staff and student athletes. And that's why we love her. But it's just been incredible. And Joe and I were sitting press row at that championship game. And I mean, the emotions inside, we both literally, he may kill me for this, we cried.
Yeah.
We seriously cried. And I stepped back, gave him the moment to go congratulate her as soon as it was done. And then I caught her on the floor after all the confetti came down. And it was just amazing because we have worked for so long, you know, to get to that moment. Everything that we thought about and what that program could be when we were looking for our next head coach had just came to fruition. And it was a magical moment. And you don't get those very often, but when they happen, it's truly incredible.
Yeah, I think there's photo documentation of tears, right? I think there's photos circling around of tears from everybody. So I know what that meant for all of us, but in particular, you guys, Tina, who've spent so much time kind of building the program. So very good stuff. Got a question in from Gary Childs. So Stacy, as an advisor for 4 sports, which one of the 4 do you think will have the easiest path to adjusting to the new reality of COVID-19?
Probably the tennis programs, right? Tennis is like golf. I think it's more conducive to having social distancing. So I don't see that there's going to be much change in tennis if we're allowed to compete. Next would be soccer, because it's an outdoor sport. And then last would be basketball. I think our indoor sports, that's going to be the bigger challenge, right? Because of the breathing that happens and the cleaning that needs to happen, which Dan McGarry, who heads up facilities for Rice Athletics, he's phenomenal. We're really lucky to have him. Yep. And he's all over it, and we're building plans on how to make that safe. But a lot of it's also going to depend on, every week, every day is something different with COVID. And so who knows what it's going to be like come basketball season. Maybe there's a vaccine, or, we hear now there's a new steroid that may decrease deaths by, a large percentage. And so, the research that's being done is exciting, and we're just taking it day by day.
Another question came in. All right, so based off your bio, it looks like you've worked in almost every area of athletics. Can you touch on that a little bit and how it's shaped the administrator you are today?
Sure. Yeah, it's over 25 years. It's been a nice, long, progressive career. And sorry if you start to hear, but my landscape crew just showed up. So if there's feedback, this is what you get working remotely. But yeah, I started out as a undergraduate student at Cal Poly, and I helped author the first student-athlete academic advising handbook, and helped a graduate student start the academic advising program. From there, I helped and with all of academic advising, moved then into a little bit more internal with facilities and camps. And I also worked with sport administration. Development and marketing was huge for 8 years there. I tend to enjoy a little bit more internal, working with student athletes directly. That's more a little bit in my wheelhouse. I miss them when I don't see them. So it's been hard the last 3 months, and looking forward to them getting back on campus. And then when I left college athletics, when I was at Miami working in the alumni office, it really allowed me to see how athletics truly fit within the overall university. And in athletics, we can get like this, very tunnel vision. We've got to get season ticket holders and donors. We've got to take care of our student athletes. We want people to come support them. And as a young buck moving up in athletics, you don't always see how the rest of the university works. And so that was a fantastic 2 years for me. Gave me great perspective that I was able to bring back when I got back into the field in Oakland and here at Rice. Feel really fortunate to be at Rice and to be at a place where we have really incredible scholar athletes, great in the classroom, great citizens, and excellent on the field.
And I know I value, for some, I've always valued my interaction with Stacy because of that development marketing background, right? She sits in an internal seat here, but she's the first to comment on an email or say, hey, why don't you do this? And I value it, and I take the feedback because I know she knows what she's talking about based off experience. So thank you, Stacy, for that. Comment, not a question. Read it real quick. From Jen Overton. I'm a 42-year Rice employee and have done official stats for men's basketball for 43 years and women's basketball since 1984. We love Coach Tina and all the coaches, players, and their families, and we're so bummed about the tournaments this year. I wish Erica good luck in the WNBA and looking forward to a 20 and 21 season. Yeah, the WNBA, I think they've had some challenges on like all sports, and so I know I haven't spoken to Erica specifically, but I know there were some challenges on her roster spot with the WNBA. But luckily, she's as talented as they come, and she's got an awesome backup plan and becoming a doctor, going to med school, so she'll be all right. Thanks, Jen, for the comment.
Yes.
Yes. Final thing, all right. So the Mosely family. First family night post-quarantine. Where are you guys going? What are you guys doing? Well, actually, better question. What have you guys done during the quarantine? I know there's been some family traditions that you've instilled.
So my husband loves golf. We belong to a golf club out here in Katy. And I have not been a golfer. And my clubs were 20 years old. And we needed to get out of the house. We needed to do something. And so he created the Sunday family golf day. I ended up getting new clubs. The kids got clubs, and the 4 of us go out and play every Sunday in the afternoon and enjoy. Sometimes it's 9 holes, sometimes it's 18. Depends on whether my back can hold up. I haven't used in a long time. So I definitely have a better appreciation for the athleticism of golfers than I ever did there. But it's been fun to do something, all 4 of us sport related, since we are an athletic family. And so I think we're going to continue that for as long as I can. Once our sports start back up, my availability to do that goes down quite a bit, especially with soccer on Sundays. But in the meantime, it's been a blast. Really enjoyed my family time because, as you know, we work 6-7 days a week. I'm able to bring my kids with me a lot to games, and that's important because they get to be around some outstanding role models. But it's been nice to just kind of be quiet, calm down a little bit over the last 3 months, and just enjoy the 4 of us.
Yeah, and I know that's something I've talked about recently on these calls is the blessing we have on such a family atmosphere, right? And you come to any Rice sporting event, and any particular night you might see my toddlers going around, or Dominic and Jacqueline in the stands, or any mix of kids, and that's based off the culture we have here, and one of the big perks and big pluses and things I love about working for our athletic department. So, Stacy, enjoyed it. Glad to have you between 2 hedges. For those, thank you for joining in. We will do it again next week, same time, Thursday, 11 a.m. It will be next Thursday, actually our 24-hour challenge. So we'll have Kathy Dantley Warren, who's our VP of Development, will join me between 2 hedges. Stacy, thank you again. For everyone, have a great Thursday. Have a safe weekend. And as always, go Owls.
Go Owls.